I think sketch comedy looks like improv. The actors are bringing to the stage the material, but they're bringing not just the material, but they're bringing personalities with each of the people playing the parts. And that's what brings everything out. I think comedy went from an interest to an obsession, probably in college when life started getting real. And laughter is what brought me out of funk and stuff. It released tension. And after college, I started working in Aspen at a musical comedy review, similar to what this is, but it was a dinner theater. That's what Laffing Matterz was based upon. And this is another iteration of another generation of what came from that. It became an obsession sometime in Aspen, how you could bring an entire room of people from all different backgrounds together. Even more so were the backgrounds different when we were in Fort Lauderdale. It was a more metropolitan area. And you'd see people of every different race, color, and creed laughing their butts off about things that we all just needed to have a little levity upon.
Sketch comedy, it was kind of a hit or miss with me. I was always a little bit intimidated by sketch comedy, and I was asked to audition for a show out of college. I auditioned for a show called John and Juan's Wedding, and it was set up as a workshop versus an actual audition. So we all were improvising as we went. And I really realized that, with the right group of actors, it was fantastically, satisfying. It was really satisfying as an actor to just be able to have a little bit of freedom, yet, keep the other actors on their toes as well. The process that I enjoy most about sketch comedy is that you can really develop a whole different scene from the original scene. And it really is just a matter of working with the right people that you can feed off of back and forth that I enjoy the most. I really like being able to come up with new characters, thinking way outside of the box, and having true, honest feedback. Sometimes a sketch will work, sometimes it won't, but that freedom to have a little bit of fun back and forth with fellow castmates is truly what I love about sketch comedy.
So why I love sketch comedy, what I think is so unique about it is the flexibility that you have as an actor. With sketch comedy, you can pretty much be and do whatever you want because there's no typecasting. You can be any kind of character. And so there's a lot more freedom for actors and actresses to be able to explore different characters and characterizations and accents, dialects, just be any kind of person you want to be. And I think it's effective because I think people, find it they need that comedic relief, especially now, with what we went through in 2020 and what we're still going through. I think people, it's like a release for them, to be able to, it's that comic relief, to be able to just put things aside, be able to watch, something that it will just bring you joy and laughter in these tough times that we've been in. And it's relatable too, relatable topics, political, social, economic, situations that we've been in, and put a turn and a spin on them to make it funny, so you don't have to think about how serious and difficult it has been for us. And the other, beauty of sketch comedy too, I think, is that because these vignettes are so short, if it's something that makes you feel uncomfortable when you're watching it, or you don't think it's that funny, it'll be over with in a few minutes. So, and then hopefully the next one will be really funny and make up for that maybe sketch that you didn't find quite as funny as maybe some other people had. So I think that's kind of the beauty of sketch comedy.
When did I first fall in love with sketch comedy? I guess you could say that it was when I auditioned for Laffing Matterz in Fort Lauderdale back in 2005. And I didn't really even know what sketch comedy truly was at that time. But being part of the inaugural cast, we got to go through a pretty intensive rehearsal process. And that's when I learned that it was just one of those things where anything kind of goes. You put everything you have out there, and there's so much that's funny and there's so much that's not. So the exploring of all of that and really finding the funny in things, but playing the funny as a real thing. You can't play the funny as something that's funny. You have to play it as if it's real and serious, and that's the humor in it. So I guess that's really when I got to dig into my corny / sarcastic / jokester side and just explore all these different avenues for things. That was just it was just so much fun going through that process, and hook, line, and sinker. Once I found that niche and really started to explore that style of comedy, and there was a good directing team behind it, so they were able to help me fine tune my instincts, and it created a monster. And since then, and being with Laffing Matterz for, I guess it was about a year and a half or so, I was with that company. I've been in love with that style of comedy since then.
So I first sort of became obsessed with the idea of musical sketch comedy when I was hired for a company called Laffing Matterz in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This was probably, I don't know, so many years ago. But I ended up staying there for 7 years at Laffing Matterz. The servers were beer entertainers. So we would come out, we would serve, we would serve the entire dinner up until the show starting. And then we would do political and social satire. It is what Funny Bōnz is based off of. But we would do these, sketches and musical numbers that were all spoofing what was happening in today's society. And this was an ongoing gig. So I stayed with Laffing Matterz for over 7 years. And it never got old because the show changed almost every week. Every week there was something new coming in and something going out. There, of course, are things that everybody loved. But that's when sort of the idea of musical sketch comedy sketches and that kind of thing, I became really sort of obsessed with. I've always been a fan of Saturday Night Live growing up. Thankfully, I'm lucky that my parents, let me watch those things growing up as a kid. And so I've always been interested in it and how it all worked. But it wasn't really until Laffing Matterz that I became, that I worked at it and that I studied it, and I sort of feel like I crafted it,
I fell in love with sketch comedy watching the Carol Burnett show. Every Saturday, our family would sit down and watch that show together. And I watched every single episode. I wanted so badly to be just like Carol Burnett. I wanted to have a show just like hers. And I would, put on little skits for my family with my sister reluctantly joining in and the neighborhood kids. And the thing I liked so much about it was just all those fun characters and the fun costumes. And I wanted to do something like that. And it wasn't until I found I did a lot of productions throughout my career when I did become a professional actor, where I would get to play more than one character. And those were usually the things that I would go for, is try to get in shows that had an actor that got to play 3 or 4 different characters. I liked doing that. I always really enjoyed that. And building characters and developing characters is one of my favorite things to do. I love the sketch comedy format because I feel like I'm really good at it. I think, so of course I love it. I think I got better at it doing Laffing Matterz because it's live. You can rehearse for a bit, but then you get out there and you have to make it happen in front of the audience. And I really love that audience interaction. And I love switching back and forth from character to character. And I think that's why I really love the sketch comedy platform the most. Like with Laffing Matterz, I would have maybe 8 different characters I'd play in one night. And it was just so much fun to go out, do one number, go backstage. And I'd have this ritual backstage of changing into these different characters. And then I'd put on the earrings, the wig, the outfit, and take on the physicality and become another character. And then that would be 5 minutes, and back off stage, get ready for the next character, and put on the new wig and put on the new costume and the new physicality and come out with the new voice and be the other character. And I just loved it. it gave me a real adrenaline rush, and I really felt like that's what I should be doing with my life. And the audience, I love the audience reaction. To get a laugh out of the audience is just, and to get, to see them smiling and happy, it was just the best feeling ever.